Right, so I'm delighted to be here today and with Preya Patel, the Managing Director of Raw Knowledge. My name is Mark Kerns. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Adapa Advisory, and we specialize in advising clients on strategy related to post-trade and security services. We've had a long-standing relationship with ITG and some of their group companies, and we've been working most recently with Raw Knowledge on the go-to-market strategy for their MSD product, which we'll describe in more detail. The nature of this session is really to provide a background as to why this product has been launched, what challenges we believe it solves, and to do a deeper dive into some of the use cases we think are relevant for wealth managers and broader financial institutions. So with that backdrop, let me hand over to Preya to give some background on herself as well as Raw Knowledge and the MSD product, and then we'll get into some of the finer details.
Thanks, Mark. So I'm Preya Patel, the Managing Director of Raw Knowledge. And what we do is help financial institutions manage their data more effectively and efficiently at scale. And that's through the Managed Smart Data platform we have. Many of you in the wealth management and private banking may also know us as a leading provider of excess reportable income for tax reporting purposes. And overall, we're really excited about our partnership with Adapa Advisory, and I believe that together we'll be bringing our managed smart data solution to the right firms and helping them build the right data foundations. So if I now go on to talk a bit about MSD and the problems it solves. So the Managed Smart Data Platform, or MSD as we tend to call it, is a data management solution, and it's designed to help financial institutions fix their underlying data issues. And at its core, it creates a single trusted view of data, so something firms can actually genuinely rely on, and that's both at scale and for reg reporting. It also pulls data from multiple sources, automatically checks and reconciles it, and brings everything together into one consistent view. And that can be used right across the organization, so that's from compliance to performance to risk reporting. And we originally built MSD to support the delivery of our offshore funds data, which largely consists of unstructured data. And over time, we realized that manual data handling and fragmented data across systems was actually holding us back. And we wanted a solution that helped the process without damaging data quality. Now, the platform has now been live for over a year, and the results have been incredible. And just to give you some stats around this, so our reporting capacity has increased from around 50 reports a week to roughly 250, and that's increasing. And data delivery turnaround times have dropped from a full working day to just 30 minutes. And what this has allowed us to do is serve more clients more efficiently, and that's without increasing headcount. And we've actually halved our resource costs since this platform.
And Preya, I think it's very clear that the managing data, if anything, the challenge is worse than ever. So I think part of our motivation in working together is clearly, if you're a large-scale firm, it's almost inevitable that these firms have their own program. They've got to focus on data management across their organizations. However, I guess what we've identified is that with scale organizations, they're quite diverse. They've got multiple underlying businesses. Some of those businesses are subscale, and we've identified that there's opportunities there. But more particularly, I think it's fair to say that we see the medium size and the smaller firms that don't necessarily have the level of internal resource or technology capability to support change within their organization to the same degree. We feel that this is probably a fertile ground in terms of being able to work with Raw Knowledge, utilize MSD, and help them solve for those problems within their own organizations. And with that kind of backdrop, what type of challenges and what type of use cases do you see are most pertinent based on the early engagement with market participants?
Yeah, so from my perspective, for wealth managers, one of the clearest benefits of the MSD platform is its ability to bring together the disparate data sources. So that's both structured and unstructured, and bringing that into a single harmonized view. So what that does is it creates one central, always up-to-date source of data that teams across the business can rely on. And whether it's securities master data, corporate actions and income events, or client static data, like bringing everything together breaks down those data silos and allows firms to analyze their data together, where it can lead to perhaps deeper and more consistent insights. What it also does for wealth managers is gives them confidence that every team is working from the same accurate information, supporting reporting, decision-making, and regulatory requirements. And because MSD automatically identifies exceptions and flags issues before they move further down, it can significantly reduce the time spent on manual reconciliation. And what that does, it lowers the risk of error, streamlines operations, and helps firms serve their clients more efficiently. Now, another segment that I see this would be useful for and beneficial for are the fund accountants. So that's another group where, like, particularly through the platform's data lineage capabilities. And data lineage, what that does is it shows how the data changes over time and where it moves across the organization. And this is critical when updates to securities reference data creates reconciliation breaks, and it also impacts mandate reporting. And staying on the subject of data lineage, because MSD highlights exactly when and where data has changed, enabling faster fixing of the data issues and simpler reconciliation, along with more efficient report production, as well as supporting compliance. Another sector actually that does actually come to mind as well are the authorized corporate directors who are under increasing pressure. So that's particularly around the assessment of value and consumer duty reporting. And these reports often rely on data that's been collected and validated manually from multiple external sources, which makes the process complex and really resource intensive and hence costly. However, with MSD, much of the manual data handling can be fully automated, and more importantly, these capabilities can be applied across a wide range of financial data assets and business use cases, and all of which can be supported by Raw Knowledge's in-house expertise across all of these areas.
And Preya, I guess the thing with data is that we hear a lot about data initiatives and people focused on data. Data's at the center of what we do. We need to leverage that to enhance the capability that we're providing to our clients. But in some cases, it's such a broad statement that it's very hard to get your hands on what does it mean specifically. So you've obviously given some examples, but if you maybe comment on things like unstructured data, because going back to my observation before that the world's in many ways getting more complicated rather than simpler. So things like private markets, things like integrating crypto assets, the extent of regulatory reporting demands and providing data in the right form to produce those reports. These demands are proliferating in many respects. And obviously, for those of us that work in wealth and asset management, we recognize that the increasing dominance of funds as part of a client's portfolio, whether it's an institution or a retail client, we recognize that that's on a significant upward trend. But gathering data from funds can be very challenging. So all of these various unstructured data issues that need to be resolved. So maybe you could comment on, how does MSD support unstructured data, bearing in mind that the other topical subject in our industry is AI and machine learning. So maybe just give a little bit of color on how to manage unstructured data in an efficient way that minimizes costs and obviously can be done in a timely fashion.
So we currently are using AI and large language models to extract data from unstructured documents and normalizing that for reporting purposes. So we've got vast amount of experience in that area currently. But what that's allowed us to do, having used it within our platform, is actually to look at other use cases. So as you mentioned, Mark, about, the more unstructured documents that you get, like the KID, the prospectuses, private markets data, and it could be ESG data as well. So all of those areas could be looked at as use cases for unstructured data.
And it's 3 weeks since we announced the partnership between Raw Knowledge and Adapa Advisory, and the initial meetings have gone exceptionally well. It'd be very interesting to get your perspective on those meetings and any observations that you have from the ones that you've attended.
Yeah, Mark, that these meetings have been very valuable, and the feedback has been really good as well. So, what I've really gathered from these meetings so far is that it's validated our strategic thinking and the direction we're heading in. And also, it's also validated some of the use cases that we've come up with while working with yourself, Mark. And we're discovering that different organizations are actually at different stages of the curve in terms of their data management challenges and solutions that they have. So, for example, some of the larger organizations that we've spoken to, they already have data management programs in place. However, there could well be opportunities there. It just depends on the use case, but also the medium-sized firms where perhaps they don't have sufficient resources to be able to carry out data management programs. That's where MSD could come into play.
And maybe just with the backdrop that we've given so far, it's appropriate to talk about the partnership that we've developed. And from an Adapa perspective, obviously we're a consulting firm, as I mentioned at the beginning, and we've supported multiple segments around their overall strategy, around go-to-market activity, review of operating models, and so on. And our motivation in terms of partnering with Raw Knowledge and MSD specifically is that we see the extent of the opportunity in the market, and we see that very specific use cases can have a tremendous impact on internal costs, but also can have benefit in terms of analytics and data that supports the growth of the firm. The reason that we've partnered with you is that this whole space is critical. Normally, we don't partner with an organization except in specific instances, in this case, and also in the ESG space, where we feel that working with a partner where in combination we can provide consulting, we can provide solutions to clients that optimize how they run their businesses, is advantageous for all parties. So that's the context of the partnership, and obviously, since we launched 3 weeks ago, we've been engaging with a range of market participants, and frankly, the feedback to date has been outstanding. So we're excited about continuing that market engagement and identifying and working with organizations to solve some of the challenges that you've articulated. So it'd be interesting, I'm hoping, Preya, that your feedback reconciles with what I've said, but it'd be interesting at your comments on the partnership from a Raw Knowledge point of view.
Mark, it's been fantastic working with Adapa Advisory up until now. And, we've seen firsthand the benefits of having a data management platform within Raw Knowledge. And, we wanted to bring those benefits to the wider market, so helping different parts of the industry move forward. But it was really important to us that we did that with the right organizations. And to do that, we knew we needed a partner with deep market insights and strong, long-standing relationships across financial services. And for Raw Knowledge, Adapa felt like a natural fit from the beginning. And I still remember our early conversations with yourself and the team, which quickly confirmed that.
No, that's great to hear, and we seem to have great momentum. And obviously, our objective together is that what we've identified, and it's been born from our research, but also the meetings that we've had to date, it's very clear that our strategy is to work with organizations, identify specific use cases, and they may be use cases that we've already developed, but identify specific use cases where we can solve and deal with a problem internally, and then use that as a platform for other issues and other areas that can be made more operationally efficient. So a lot more to come, and obviously working with the wealth community, the asset management community, and other financial institution segments is critical. But lots more to come, and exciting times ahead, Preya.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree, Mark. And you know, from my perspective, we're really focused on building the long-term client relationships. And our aim is to help firms deal with their data management challenges head on, and support the next stage of growth. And that's, you know, sustainable growth that doesn't rely on increasing headcount or manual workarounds. And again, that relationship might look different from one client to the next, depending on their specific challenges or their requirements. But you know, what doesn't change is that our commitment to being in this for the long haul. And, you know, just finally, we want to understand how a business evolves with our platform and continue developing new ways to help drive it forward. And we're always open to having a conversation, learning more about the challenges firms are facing and exploring where MSD could add value. And our inbox at Raw Knowledge is always open.
That's great to hear. Thank you very much, Preya.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.